Just like we want to create good habits for ourselves in writing our HTML code, we want to form good habits with our project management of the web design projects that we take. You've probably already noticed that there is a dramatic difference between graphic design, or traditional desktop publishing, and website design and development. Many graphic designers that I've met jump right into web design on their own, only to stumble and encounter difficulty and frustration. One of the main sources of the frustration is that in traditional desktop publishing and graphic design, the design of the elements and the moment when that element is available to view and be seen is almost instantaneous. If you draw a picture of a box, you see a box, and a circle, and a triangle. It's right there in front of you. In web design, we've already touched upon how HTML gives us structure, and proper usage of CSS allows us to influence the way the web page defined by that HTML structure is presented. Essentially, in web design, when properly done, there's a degree of separation between design and the ability to see what you're creating, and, along the way, an awful lot of thought put into what you are about to create, rather than the traditional graphic design experience of make it, look at it, decide if you like it. If you don't, you get rid of it, you draw something else instantly, and move on from there. This change is often experienced by everybody and not necessarily realized. A typical behavior that's observed when studying human-computer interaction in a usability analysis context is frustration and the perception that I don't know how to use this. I must be doing something wrong. There's something wrong with me because I don't get this. And frustration builds upon that and creates a reinforcing cycle that I can't do this. This is too hard. No way I can do this. And nothing could be further than the truth. HTML and cascading style sheets are very simple and easy to use, and something that can be mastered by almost everyone. Just remember to tell yourself that the design process of web design is complementary to that of graphic design, but it is not the same. Web design, like all design processes, is an iterative process, meaning that you're going to create something, observe what you've created, react to it, make a modification, be happy with what you've created, share it with someone else, get their input, make revisions, share with a larger audience, and so on and so forth. Another critical item that you must watch for, and something you must watch for now and for all time, is scope creep. You've seen a bit of this if you've done any traditional graphic design when you're flowing copy into your documents or making revisions, and you have the final edits, and then you have the really final edits, and then the really, really final edits, and then Series 2 really, 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 really final edits. In web design, this is even more critical to watch out for. The reason being is that, as we were talking about a moment ago, a lot of thought and effort has to be put into thinking about the code structure you'll set up for your page and the styles that you'll create to affect the presentation of that structure. Now, since you're at the beginning of forming your HTML skills, get yourself into the habit of documenting exactly what it is that your customer, whether that's your own personal client or your employer or your uncle for whom you're creating a website, get into the habit now of defining exactly what it is that you're going to create and get the approval of your customer, internal or external, for those exact specifications. As you manage your relationships in defining the items that you're going to design, bear in mind that it's going to take a certain amount of time, and be upfront and truthful with your estimates. Managing the expectations of your customers will save you a massive amount of time. Scope creep is inevitable, and you have to manage it. Scope creep might originate from you, because as you start to learn more and observe new techniques in CSS and HTML, you'll have the instinctive reaction to create something bigger and better and more fancy and more engaging, and you're going to find HTML and CSS can be a lot of fun. You're going to create really nice-looking, slick stuff that works and accomplishes a goal, the goal of your client, and all the while you'll be tempted to do bigger and better things than what you originally set out to do. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But remember to manage the expectation of whom you're doing this work for. Because when you take on a project that you quote for 3 hours, end up taking 6 hours to create, and then have 3 hours more of revisions, you're not going to be able to bill for all of that time.